Welcome to Between the Covers, the book program that likes to look at the story behind the story. This week we talk to the often unsung heroes of contemporary fiction, those who do so much to inspire and support the nation's great writers. I am, of course, talking about their dogs. Today marks the publication of the third novel in Alex Scarrow's epic Time Riders series, The Doomsday Code. So, in a Between the Covers exclusive, I'd like to welcome to the studio his dog, Max. Good evening, Max.
Good evening yourself, Melvin. Thank you for inviting me on your nice little show.
I'd like to begin with discussing your relationship with the author, if I may.
Please do. I'm all ears.
Oh, I see. Yeah, your publicist mentioned you had a reputation as something of a wit. Anyway, the question I'd like to begin with is, how long have you actually known Alex Scarrow?
3, nearly 4 years ago now. That's human years, you understand.
Of course.
As you know, before then I was working with Ian McEwan. I've been with Ian for some years, but increasingly we had different opinions about literary merit. So in the end I had to pack my bone and leave.
And that's when you left Ian McEwan and to look for another writer?
Precisely. Here, you got any biscuits?
Oh, I thought you'd been fed in the green room before the show?
Green room? I have this colour-blind problem, you see. I must have missed it.
Anyway, back to Alex Scarrow. Why did you pick him to move on to?
I'd read his previous books, you know, Last Light, October Skies and so on. I thought, now here's a writer I can work with. He just needed a nudge in the right direction.
Okay, so where did you meet exactly?
Starbucks in Norwich.
Starbucks? Why there?
Well, they do a good latte. Besides, that's where Alex likes to work.
In a coffee shop? I'd have thought that writers and their dogs needed peace and quiet to work.
They also need caffeine. Lots of caffeine.
So what happened?
Oh, I did my usual trick. I waited until he was stuck in the middle of a sentence. Then I jumped up and suggested a suitable phrase. Bingo. Never fails to break the ice between a dog and his writer.
A dog and his writer? Surely that's, some people might think that's something of an inversion of the creative process.
Believe what you like, pal. Are you sure you haven't got any biscuits?
No. Getting back to the meeting. Having made contact with Alex, what actually happened next? What was he working on at the time?
It was the first draft of Time Riders. Very early days. He had the basis of a good idea, but I could see it needed a dog's touch. So he decided to continue the conversation at his house.
And the rest is history.
Ha ha ha. Oh, I wish I'd said that.
You will, Max, you will.
Answering to the call of the Oscar Wilde, eh?
Quite. So, you moved in with Alex then?
Lock, stock and barrel. He got me in a basket, bowl and squeaky toy, and we were ready to start work.
I see. And how exactly did the two of you start to collaborate? Take me through a typical day, as it were.
Well, to be honest, there's no such thing as a typical day. Creative minds just don't work like that.
I see. You're referring to the muse, that inconstant animus that interpolates between the inconstancies of the world and the individual implanteur of the artist?
No, I'm talking about whether we chase the squeaky first, then go for a walk, then write, or whether we walk, then write, then chase the squeaky toy. It's complicated.
I see, so you actually have to wait for inspiration to strike. So there's no typical day.
I'd really kill for a biscuit, or I have to lick me nuts.
Moving on. I'm sure the viewers would love to know how the two of you collaborate.
Well, I suppose you think that I just bark and he writes.
No, of course not.
Well, that's mostly what happens, actually.
Oh,
Sure, I mean, it could be wrong for me to claim all the credit, but I'm there for Alex when he gets stuck and needs a way forward.
so what happens then?
Now we go for a brisk walk to talk it through, or we might chat over a coffee, or over a pint down the pub.
You'd say it's fairly informal then.
Works better that way. It's not rocket science.
I must say, you're very modest.
Well, there's no need to brag. I mean, it's not as if it's the tail wagging the dog or anything.
Well, it only remains me to thank you for coming on the show, Max, and I hope you and Alex have a great success with the Doomsday Code.
Well, thanks for the invite, Melvin. Most gracious.
Well, I'm sure we'll all agree that was a very insightful interview. Next week, we hope to talk to Coco, the dog of Simon Scarrow, and find out how they collaborate on his Roman novels. Until then, safe reading, viewers.